I woke up this morning to find that the rain had finally stopped, but it was still very wet outside. First thing though, I went to go check out the beach here at Skeens Creek because I didn't get a chance to yesterday. The beach access was right next to my site, which is always nice. I'll be staying here for a few nights using it as a base while I explore the surrounding area. This foreshore caravan park has good facilities, and I generally like smaller and quieter places like this in comparison to the more populated areas. So I'm sure I'll enjoy my stay here. But on today's agenda, I'll be venturing into the Otways. The Great Otway National Park covers a large area offering some beautiful rainforest scenery, and this was one of my most anticipated places to visit. So safe to say, I am excited. The drive was fantastic, driving through magnificent rainforests and open countryside. I did go the long way because I wanted to stay on the main roads. Because I have found driving a large van, you really need to research your route more so than what you would in a car to ensure you don't get yourself into any sticky situations, like travelling on skinny back roads, and steep inclines or rough dirt roads are not your friend. Luckily, the information centres so far have been super helpful and knowledgeable, giving advice on routes and more importantly, which roads to avoid. The drive was just under an hour, but I didn't mind as I honestly love driving. I find it so peaceful, and now I'm finally getting used to how the van handles. I'm less stressed and enjoying driving the van a lot more. My first stop was Triplet Falls. It wasn't really on my radar because there were other waterfalls that I had on my list before this. But the roads to some of these were a little sketchy, so I came here instead to hike to the falls. This was also along a dirt road, but it was very compacted and well maintained, so it was no issue for the van to drive down. But I'm so glad I came here because this hike was a 1-hour loop and it was absolutely beautiful. The track was steep in sections, but walking amongst the ferns and lush rainforest was stunning. I've fallen in love with hiking or just going on for walks over the last couple of years. It gets you moving, and being out experiencing nature just somehow makes you feel more alive. It's hard to fully describe, but just slowing down, breathing in the fresh air, and exploring, it's like a rush of joy and makes your mind at peace. I even spotted some wildlife in a wallaby that was sitting on the track. I tried to get a good shot of him with my new zoom lens, but couldn't get a clear shot through the bushes before he jumped away. But it was amazing to witness. made it down to the falls. It gets its name because it splits into 3 waterfalls, which was awesome, and I spent a decent amount of time just taking it in and, of course, taking some photos. I enjoy nature and landscape photography, but the photos just don't do it justice. I have been posting all of my photos on my Instagram at @thegallivantinggeek, so go check that out if you're interested. I then climbed back up to the car park and headed to the next destination. Next stop was Otway Fly Treetop Adventures. They have ziplining tours here, but I just wanted to check out the treetop walk. It was a unique experience being so high up in the trees and walking along these metal walkways. The walkways gently move when walking along them, which was a strange sensation. And you wouldn't want to be afraid of heights as you're walking 30 meters above the ground. And this was the moment when I almost lost my phone as it narrowly missed going down the crack in the side. But thankfully, no phones were lost on this experience. We're very high up. I then climbed to the top of this spiral tower that was 47 meters tall, and when you stop moving at the top, it legit sways with the wind, which was so disorientating. A little scary, I'm not gonna lie, but still very cool, and had an amazing view over the rainforest canopy. Then once I completed the treetop walk, I walked through the enchanted forest. which is this super cute track that they have decked out with statues, gnomes, fairy villages, and even a spooky area. I assume they made this for kids and families, but as I'm a big kid, I also had a lot of fun checking out all the hidden nooks and displays. The entry fee for the treetop walk was $30, which I initially thought was kind of expensive for what it is, especially because there are so many free hiking around the Otways. I would have been happier with $20, maybe I'm just a little cheap. But anyway, the real question is, was it worth my $30? Overall, yes, it was worth experiencing. I'm glad I did it because it did offer a unique view of the environment and I had a lot of fun here. Would I do it again? Probably not, because I think experiencing it once is enough. But if I did come back here, I'd maybe give the zip lining a go. Then after a quick lunch, I headed to the redwoods. This area is full of Californian redwoods that are obviously not native to Australia and were planted in 1936 as an experiment to expand the forest to keep up with the logging demands. That means these trees are 90 years old and are stunning. The redwoods were magical. It was crazy. As I entered, I heard this music playing, and then as I approached, these two older ladies were playing a harp and an acoustic guitar. And the music fit the fantastical vibe perfectly. It was so random, and honestly, what are the chances of stumbling across this? These towering trees were impressive, with a cute creek running nearby, and I definitely felt like I was walking through a forest lifted right out of the pages of one of my favourite fantasy books. In fact, what better and more fitting place to start reading one of the greatest and most influential fantasy novels of all time in J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings. I hanged out here for a while, relaxing and reading beneath these beautiful trees, and it was so nice. Then it was time to check out the last location of the day, being Hopetoun Falls. Just up the road from the redwoods, the road to the car park looked a little steep for the van, so I parked at the top on the side of the road and walked down from there, which wasn't too far, and with the amount of deep potholes and not much room to maneuver, I think my instincts were right in this situation. Then I got to the start of the trail and walked down the 200 steps to the viewing platform below. And there it was, Hopetoun Falls. I don't think I'll ever get sick of looking at waterfalls. They are just epic, and this was no exception. I was also really proud of how my photos turned out here too. This was probably my favourite waterfall of the trip, because it was just beautiful. Though the trek back up those stairs was no joke. I didn't film it because it was not a pretty sight to see me struggling one step at a time. But experiencing the views of Hopetoun Falls made the effort all the more worthwhile. So that was my day exploring the Otways, going on some incredible walks, checking out breathtaking rainforests, tall trees and impressive waterfalls. If you've been here, let me know your favourite spots down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next adventure.